Romana finally happened. I never thought this would happen. I agree with the ANC Youth League, mate. I never thought I'd see this day. I may have to join I'm a little bit old for it, but I may have to join the ANC Youth League.
I'm also far too old for it. I am 35, and apparently the cutoff date is 35, though ANC Youth League and rules don't really go together. So the context for this is there is a movement called the Unemployed People's Movement. It's almost like it's just the weirdest thing that you can imagine. So, as we well know, thanks to COVID and especially the lockdowns from the ANC, the president said, okay, we'll give everyone 350 Rand a month because social grants and etc. etc. So a lot of people love this, especially the NGOs, especially the George Soros NGOs. And now there are calls for a basic income grant for like every South African who's not white. And of course, the best way to do that is by taxing wealthy whites, because they're the only people who are actually rich in here. But speaking of the Unemployed People's Movement, the leader is called Kota. And then he says, we've been saying, and I quote, what we have been saying is give the unemployed 1,500 Rand a month, 1,500 a month. There's an argument about where the money comes from. We don't actually care too much. You get the money from the wealth tax, because if the government wants to rely on VAT, as it seeks to do, it'll put the burden on the unemployed. VAT is a non-starter. We are saying tax the rich, because according to the Unemployed People's Movement, the 350 Rand a month is racist, colonial, and an insult to an attack on the dignity and soul of the black folk in South Africa. Yeah, I don't know what to say, because, mate, the solution to this insult of 350 Rand a month is to get a job.
Yeah,
I would think.
So this article, this is an article that came out of Propaganda 24, which basically says calls to increase social relief grants to 1.5 per month by taxing the rich. And you know the ANC love to kind of bang on that. But basically, as Ramon says, he says that basically he's saying that the 350 grant's an insult because it costs you about 120 just to get the taxi to town to get this grant, and then you drive home and you've only got what, like 230 left. And then he's like, but that gets you what, like, you know, a cuddle and a kiss or what? And from that degree, I suppose I'd agree. Like the actual grant gets you nothing. He's like, it's not even enough to put free electricity in my house. Like, yeah, God forbid you have to pay for the things you get. But he says, well, obviously, you know, what we actually need is we need like 1.5. I mean, why stop there, mate? Like, why not ask for, I don't know, 10,000 Rand a month? I mean, I suppose the unemployed movement of people is populated with unemployed people, and frankly, I suppose you can ask for whatever you want. Why not 1 million? I mean, why stop there?
I mean, I don't think this is progressive enough, you know, because people always say the minimum wage should be like 20 Rand an hour or whatever the case might be. I'm like, why don't I make it 10,000 Rand an hour? You know, the limits are only determined by the dreams that you have at the end of the day. Like economics and how many taxes you incur and how many taxes are paid and government expenditure. I mean, those things are just largely removed from the utopia we actually wish to build in this country. So I'm saying 15,000 Rand a month, basic income grant for non-whites in South Africa, and who cares where it comes from? I mean, I don't see why
these people are going to get this guy's vote, mate.
I mean, these people are called progressive, but I'm the real progressive. These guys are just reactionary. 1.5 for black people, that is a colonial insult at its best.
Yeah, so I mean, I love the guy's framing of this. He says that the current grant is a measly amount and urged the government to increase the grant because the amount was an insult to the dignity and soul of black people. It's free fucking money, mate. Like, you know, you should be kind of lucky with what you got. But I suppose for me, the part that really kind of sums this all up is like, what they're basically saying is they want more money from the social relief grant, which obviously SASSA pays out. Forgive me if I'm wrong, man. I'm sure we've covered this, but hasn't SASSA gone like bust like 4 times already with the social grant of 350? So they don't have the money to pay 1.5, mate. Like, I don't know. They can't pay 350. How are they going to pay 1.5? Well, their answer is, as you very rightly said, the wealth tax. Now, if any of you guys were watching the ANC's bullshit conference, the wealth tax was unfortunately raised, and they said there was an argument on whether taxing for a basic income grant should be through a wealth tax or VAT or whatever else. And one very great big bright spark in the audience did raise a point, and it's worth repeating. South Africa's in the top 12 countries for tax in the world. We are one of the most taxed countries in the world. We are in the top 12. So you would think that naturally, what this country really needs is more taxes. I mean, why go for the top 12 when you can go for the top 3? I mean, why not?
Aaron, we need to be world number one at other things other than rape and murder. Come on, man. Like number one in rape, number one in murder, number one in tax. Hey, that's the trifecta. I mean, come on.
Number one in unemployment.
Yeah, but then we're number 4 top ones in the world. That's an achievement.
Well.
Not one that we want, but an achievement nevertheless.
Now, guys, that opening segment wasn't a joke. Color me sideways, man. Like, I shit you not. I never thought this
came to the rescue.
I never thought this would happen. The ANC freaking Youth League says the state should not monitor and regulate fiscal policies to shape and shift the current grant to make it conducive for young people to survive in the current high cost of living. Or they said they should. Furthermore, the young people of South Africa are not entitled to grants, but want opportunities and jobs to advance their socio-economic circumstances. Yeah, what? Did they just say that they need jobs? Like, fucking hell, is this still the ANC, mate?
Apparently so. Youth League says, no, we don't want grants, we want jobs. It's sort of gobsmacked. Who knew that there was a movement that was far to the left of the ANC that wants bigger grants, and they're like, no, we don't need grants. We just need jobs. And it's the ANC Youth League, like the most corrupt, low IQ, retarded organization the world's ever known. Excuse the R word.
Yeah.
But for once, they're a bit based.
They like regulate and monitor the fiscal policies to shape and shift the current grant to make it conducive for young people to survive. Yeah, okay, I understand that. Like, you need to be able to make a way for them. So basically, this is them saying you need to make a way for young people to be able to look after themselves. And then they go on to say, but not by grants, but jobs. And you're like, did I just read that? At the ANC Youth League. It's almost like they're starting to realize that ANC policy is bullshit.
Or it is from Propaganda 24. So maybe it's actually the DA Youth League and they just misgendered the youth leagues. But anyway, what we do know is that the ANC Youth League has been infiltrated by the third force, known as the CIA and the Western powers, to become neoliberal.
I can't see any other explanation.
I mean, it's Hanlon's law. The simplest explanation makes the most sense or is most likely. So I'm going to apply that to the ANC Youth League, and therefore the future of this country and the ANC is in very good hands because it's been, infiltrated by neolibs.
I don't know what to say, mate. Like, yeah, it's almost like they realize that once you put in place a good old sector there that basically says, have 1.5, that just now 1.5 is not going to be enough, and then you're going to want 3, and then 3 is not going to be enough, and you go on 5. Like, as we very jokingly said, why stop at 5? Why not for 10? Like, it's never going to be enough, mate. And no matter how much you tax anybody, it's never going to be enough. It's like the parable. There's even a parable in the Bible where Jesus gets his feet washed, and then gets his feet washed with oil, and then they get like. The woman gets chastised and she's like, why are you wasting money on oil to wash his feet? And Jesus goes, because there'll always be poor people. He says, give the money to the poor. He says, there'll always be poor people. But I'm only here for a short amount of time. And once I'm gone, I'm gone. And I like that parable because that parable, like, let's replace Jesus with taxpayers. Like, there's only so many taxpayers, mate. There's always going to be poor people. And, like, the taxpayers are only going to be there for a short amount of time. And once they're gone, man. Like, once the taxpayers are gone because you're number one for the most taxed country in the world and everybody sees their taxes stolen, it's almost like they're going to go, but I'm not getting anything for my taxes. And I'm a little bit libertarian when it comes through to taxes. Tax is just theft. It's just theft. And when you're seeing your money stolen and you're getting nothing for it, the amazing thing's going to happen, and it's already happening. People are going to go, oh, fuck this for a laugh, and they're going to immigrate. And then who's going to be left to pay your stupid dumbass grants? It's almost like, and here you go. Here's the Youth League going, yeah, this isn't the answer. Maybe we just need jobs. Like, I don't know, man. I'm stunned.
Who knew? Even the ANC Youth League is coming to terms with losing power. It's amazing and good. And on that bombshell, it's time to go.
See you later, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Cheers.